What's up everybody, this is Mastery and Gamer, and today I'm going to talk about a hero who's basically the antonym of Overwatch meta, and that's Bastion. Now, Bastion certainly isn't the only hero who holds this role. Others, such as Torbjorn and sometimes Symmetra, fit in here as well, and have for, well, pretty much since the game's release. They hold such a low standing in the community that they're pretty much assumed to be troll picks whenever you see them. But why is this exactly? They'll work their way into the game every now and again either through an unbalanced hero rework or the occasional cheese comp strategy. But for the most part, these heroes are frowned upon in competitive, and many times, even in quick play. I'm confident that all of you are quite familiar with this, and if you haven't been the one to dare pick Bastion on attack, I'm sure you've been in a game where somebody has. And I bet once they picked him, they were quickly met with discontent from their teammates. This sort of mindset is actually very conflicting of my opinions on Overwatch. In a competitive game, I would agree that picking Bastion or Torbjorn isn't a good idea, especially if they don't have a Reinhardt or Mercy to complement them. However, in quick play, if someone wants to use a turret on attack, and they are at least trying to push points and payloads, then I don't think it's fair to criticize someone for wanting to play in this manner. Now, Bastion and Torbjorn aren't the only heroes to regularly receive hate, and some of the others in this boat will actually help us to understand why Bastion in particular is such a low-tier hero. Two of these other heroes are Widowmaker and Hanzo. For sake of simplicity, let's divide all the heroes I've mentioned into two categories: turrets and snipers. Turrets and snipers alike are generally the most disapproved kind of heroes to play. However, turrets have a worse rep than snipers, and here's why. It all comes down to skill caps and their potential for usefulness. Even if both hero types can frequently have a low impact on helping your team, snipers often have more potential to be useful. Snipers, especially Widowmaker, can have some of the highest skill caps in the game. Not only do you need to know good positioning, but also you must have incredible mechanical skill to aim. This kind of skill requirement is something that turrets lack by comparison. However, many sniper players don't have the skill to fully or even properly utilize their hero, which is why they get similar hate to those who play turrets. But if the probability of a sniper player being bad is enough to give them all a negative stereotype, then it's clear why turrets suffer even more. Their overall potential to be useful is just much lower, thus lowering their ability to fill a role in most given metas. So before I go any further with this topic, I want to convey the reason that turret-based heroes, and to a similar extent snipers, lack potential to be useful on a team. It all comes down to mobility. The ability to move in quick, secure a kill, and then move out just as quickly if need be. This is the crux on which the dive meta, and many other metas as well, reside. That's why tanks like D.Va and Winston are so strong right now. Not only do they have decent damage output, but they are highly mobile. The reason Orisa has never been able to find a decent place in the meta is that she's the least mobile tank in the game.
Current outlook? Negative.
Looking past just tanks, who are other prominent meta heroes? Tracer, Genji, Lucio, simply because of his speed boost ability. Heck, let's take a look at Soldier 76 and McCree, two heroes who have always been competing to hold a higher place in the meta. One of the reasons Soldier has predominantly beaten out McCree is just that he has his sprint ability, and thus is much more mobile. Now, of course, mobility isn't the only factor that makes a hero good, but it's the main reason that turret heroes don't hold a place in the meta. Almost by definition, turrets lack mobility. This is by design. The reason they are immobile is because they generally have high damage output, and excel at holding their given position. However, at high skill levels of Overwatch, this strategy simply can't compete with high mobility, even when on defense. And there's actually a good reason for this. Heroes with higher mobility generally take more skill to play well. Which is harder to do? Stand still and shoot a target, or move around rapidly and shoot a target? Obviously the latter. But the incredibly important follow-up to this statement is that this only holds true at higher levels of play. In the perfect case where every player plays their heroes perfectly, then the team with Tracer, Soldier, and Lucio will beat out the team with Bastion, Torbjorn, and McCree. But this perfect case is impossible to achieve. Even pros can mess up or get caught off guard occasionally, So while at their level this case will mostly hold up, even then it's not a perfect 100% success rate. While certain more meta heroes are better at high levels of play, oftentimes less meta heroes will be strong at lower levels. This is getting into something I'll talk about more later, but just because certain heroes aren't good at the level pros play at, doesn't mean they aren't good at the level of you or me. I'm sure many, if not all of us, remember a time where Bastion was quite powerful. No, not that week he spent being horrendously unbalanced, but back when we were all new to Overwatch. He's quite good against noobs, but once you figure out how to counter him, his usefulness dies out. But even then, he still finds a role to fill every now and again. If not in competitive mode, then at least in quick play. I know I'll run into a damn good Bastion player every now and again, granted they are incredibly rare these days. Honestly, I really wish I saw him more. If I had a Bastion in my games 1/10 the time I currently see Widowmaker and Hanzo, even if they were a mediocre player, I'd still consider it a good thing. If not for the sake of a balanced match, then at the very least, just the satisfaction of a little variety. So then perhaps the real issue is that Bastion isn't balanced. Is he just underpowered at anything above bottom tier? Well, yes and no. On his own, Bastion is a balanced hero. He does have his uses and can be great against heroes like Reinhardt, Orisa, Winston, and Roadhog. However, with the exception of Winston, we don't really see these heroes being played much, at least not in competitive. Who we do see a lot of is Genji, Tracer, D.Va, and Lucio. All heroes who, if they don't counter Bastion directly, at least aren't ideal targets for him. Even in quick play, there are a lot of Widowmaker, Hanzo, and especially recently, Junkrat players, all of whom are strong counters once again. Thus, Bastion's weakness in this sense isn't that he's an underpowered hero, but that he's strongest against heroes who are sparingly played. And even then, there aren't many that he heavily counters. There are just too many heroes in the game that are good against him, and not enough that he's good against. Maybe this is evidence of him needing yet another rework in his gameplay mechanics, but perhaps it also means that we just need more new heroes to be his fodder. Sadly though, it's evident that heroes like this aren't the most popular to play, which is really just unfortunate happenstance for Bastion enthusiasts. There's a reason Genji regularly tops the playtime charts, and it isn't just because he can deflect Bastion's bullets. But despite his bottom tier competitive pick rate, which carries over even into quick play, I'd love to see Bastion in more matches. While researching and writing the script for this video, I played a lot of Bastion in quick play, not only to get footage, but also to personally get a better feel for him. And the realization I came to wasn't very pleasant. He really has next to no role in the game right now. Granted, I'm by no means a good Bastion player, but just trying him out in different situations and maps made it evident that he's useful every now and again, but overall just can't really contribute much. It isn't surprising that so few people play him. It really makes me sad, since he's such a cool character and has a really unique playstyle, but it's just not something that works well in the game of Overwatch. At least not right now. I'm really curious to see whether Blizzard tries doing anything for him in the months to come, as they've already given him a massive overhaul once since the game launched, but even that did next to nothing aside from help end the tank meta. Maybe someday the tank meta will swing back around, and then he'll find usefulness again. But as for right now, and I really hate having to say this, I don't know that he's really worth playing. If you've got a group who's willing to pick heroes that complement him, or you're going for a surprise cheese strat, then he can actually work really well. But in terms of solo queuing, even just in quick play, I can't say Bastion is a good choice to go with. Given the current state of the game, he simply can't compete. However, if you do feel the desire to play him, then please, by all means, go for it. Don't let me dictate how you have your fun, just as long as it's not yet another triumvirate of Genji, Widowmaker, and Hanzo. Besides, just like me, I doubt that you're a pro player, so maybe you can find good use for Bastion. But regardless, thank you all so much for watching, and please tell me what you think about Bastion and his role in the game down in the comments below. You can also vote in today's poll card to share your thoughts about it there too. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I would really appreciate you hitting the bell and subscribe buttons, as well as following me on Twitter. This is Mastery and Gamer, signing off. I've got to go play some Diva now to bump back up my MMR after all that Bastion experimenting. So until next time, have a great day.